Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while, but today it's an exciting day because I'm talking about my favorite trader out there of all the market wizards known and unknown, and that is Chris Camillo. There have been other great traders that I've loved to follow. Jesse Stein, his book Insider Buy Superstocks really fired me up and taught me, being a part of his group for a while really taught me a lot. But it was not until that I stumbled upon Chris Camillo, read his book, and really joined his Discord, started watching his Dumb Money. Granted, we have been in an amazing year, so we'll see how it goes for me going forward, moving more into this methodology. But Chris Camillo, he's got a 68% annualized return over the past 14 years, basically 80,000 into 21 million audited, really about 40 million now. So it works. He doesn't use technical analysis. He doesn't use fundamental analysis. You may be wondering how does he do it? What he does is he detects change early. And he started this when he was 12 years old. He was on his way to a garage sale where he would flip things. He would find mail-oriented items and that were being sold for cheap, and he would flip them. But on his way one day, he would always get a Snapple iced tea and lemonade. And one day they didn't have it, and he asked the clerk, what's going on? And they said, well, Arizona tea is now more popular. So he was thinking, he asked his brother, who's a stockbroker, is there any way that I can make money off of this? And his brother said, yeah, you can buy puts. So he bought some puts, made a few $100 because it turned out they did have too much inventory in the channel. So unfortunately, he didn't realize that he'd hit on a great method. And so he started floundering around this strategy, that strategy for years. And then later, when he got into a market research firm, it sort of came back to him about he started seeing how inefficient and inaccurate and slow some of these market research things were, and how behind the curve Wall Street actually was, similar to how those women who were selling mail-oriented items, they didn't really realize the value of those items. Similarly, Wall Street a lot of times doesn't realize the value of middle America oriented items or female oriented items like Lulu or Apple, even, because they were so focused on their Blackberries. So basically, you're looking for something that Wall Street doesn't understand. You're detecting change early. He calls it a social arbitrage method, and it's really a powerful method. And I encourage you to follow his Dumb Money Discord, Dumb Money Live, where he talks about his process, and he's so passionate about investing, and he's so diligent. I mean, you can tell that even he, who just loves this, is overwhelmed right now in the type of market that we're in, but he's still just crushing it, and that's why he's up on leverage. But anyway, let me get back. I'm kind of getting like him all over the place here, but let me get back on point here. So he realized that you can see these trends in person. You can look at the long lines. He saw the long lines at P.F. Chang's, at Cheesecake Factory, and you can detect it on social media. You can see the conversational volume. You can look at Google search trends. You can look at web traffic. He ultimately created something called ticker tags that sort of takes all these words and helps you to find these tags like sold out or obsessed with, but you can do it manually, and he made a lot of money before he ever did this ticker tag. So we can't use it as an excuse that, oh, well, we don't have ticker tags, we don't have this, this stuff that he sold to Wall Street. You can do it manually. You can find these trends, and especially in the Dumb Money community on Discord, you can find that there's so much information out there. You won't even know what to do with it. But let me give you a couple examples of this working and talk a little bit about the importance of conviction and where the pitfalls can come in this strategy. So he had seen that the term Under Armour and Cold Gear underwear were starting to take off, and he was like 99% sure that this trade was going to work. But it turned out that some analysts were downgrading it, and then Lulu, which is in the same sector, missed earnings, so the stock sold off. And so he started thinking, well, do they know something that I don't know? And turned out that he They didn't. It was a great play. They crushed it on this area, but he realized that I've got to keep my conviction and not be thinking if I've done my due diligence, because he did for this is not just spotting the trends. He did 4 to 5 hours of this. He basically gets obsessed with whatever it is, reads everything he can possibly get his hands on in all areas about this thing. And when he gets that conviction, he knows he needs to stick with it. And that's what he did with Netflix on the Stranger Things. Analysts were downgrading Netflix and this, that, and the other, but he saw that Stranger Things was spiking up and it was staying up, and he did end up holding on to that. Now, here's a key point. He says, excuse me, let's see, what's my wrong note here. He says, this game is all about confidence. I should not have let extraneous factors affect my confidence. I used to have this thought about the market that they must know something I don't know. That is the thought I've continually tried to shake off. And so conviction and putting a big chunk of your portfolio in something is a lot of the way he was able to achieve these type of returns. He did use options earlier, generally in the money options, putting close to 100% of his portfolio in different things. Nintendo at one time during the Wii era. It's just a powerful methodology. You've got to have your investing goggles on, and you're looking for trends everywhere you look. For example, when Michelle Obama wore a dress out there after Obama was elected, that really helped the J. Crew stock. Now, Chris actually missed that trade because all the black community began to buy J. Crew, which they had not in the past. And so he even bought that dress, put it in his closet, and to this day, it reminds him, keep your eyes open for these game changers, these things that could really move the needle. Whether it's glue for making do-it-yourself slime, whether it's underwear, sandals. Now, all this is sort of broken down in Laughing at Wall Street. But what I love about Jack Schwagers' interview is that he draws out basically most of the information in that book in just like 20 pages. And so you really get a feel for how Chris invests and what his strengths are and how he is able to work around his weaknesses in terms of, he's not a mathematician, he's not an algo trader or anything like that. And it's just inspiring. It's just inspiring to see that it can be done. You can beat the street if you're patient enough. Now, patience is another thing I do want to hit on here, because when Chris started making enough money to quit his job and trade full time, he realized that it's hard to do all this due diligence and then not put on a trade. He says, let's see, my biggest mistakes over the years have always been a consequence of trading too much. If I had just stuck to my high conviction trades, I believe my account would be tenfold what it is today. My methodology works best when I identify significant off-radar information that allows me to have a tremendous amount of conviction going to a trade. It's difficult to say I'm going to wait for a high conviction trade, not to do anything for 3 months. And that's tough for me, guys. I've never been able to actually do that. And I suspect that's the way it is for many of you. But it is something to think about, because we should be in this to make money. If we want to be entertained, we can play video games. We can do a variety of other things. This is a game that if you want to just be in it for fun, that's fine. But I think a lot of you watching this video are in it to make money, and that's what I'm in it to be in. So we need to look at ourselves in the mirror and think about, why are we in a trade? Do we really have conviction in it? Why or why not? Have we done the work? Peter Lynch, who is one of Chris's favorite traders, says before you buy a stock, you ought to do the amount of due diligence that you would before you buy a car. Know what you're buying, know why you're buying it. You don't have to be a mathematician or anything, but you need to have good reasons for why the stock is going to move. And so that is Chris Camillo. Go out, buy the Unknown Market Wizards, check it out at your library, whatever, get your hands on it, go to Dumb Money, watch Dumb Money, and subscribe to this channel. Hopefully the next video will be out before 2022, Lord willing, and I will see you guys in the next one.